Letting go of past regrets is one of the most powerful steps a person can take after crossing the age of 60, because by this stage in life, memories, both good and bad, become companions that follow everywhere. For many people, the regrets of mistakes made in youth, missed opportunities, broken relationships, or unfulfilled dreams continue to weigh heavily on the heart. These regrets, if held on to, act like chains that keep the mind restless and the spirit unsettled. When we replay the same painful memories again and again, it is like reopening a wound that should have healed long ago. True peace of mind cannot be found while carrying the burden of what ifs and if only. The human mind is naturally inclined to analyze the past, but at an older age, clinging to regrets often leads to unnecessary suffering, as the past can never be changed. What can be changed, however, is the way one thinks about it. Letting go does not mean forgetting everything or pretending mistakes never happened. It means acknowledging them, learning from them, and then releasing the emotional grip they have on you. For example, someone might regret not pursuing a certain career path or not being able to give their children the life they dreamed of. Another person might regret harsh words spoken to a loved one or poor choices made in financial matters. These regrets are real, but they cannot be undone. At 60 and beyond, the only wise path is to say, "I did the best I could with the knowledge and circumstances I had at that time." This shift in perspective transforms regret into wisdom, turning painful memories into valuable lessons instead of heavy burdens. When people hold on to regret, it often turns into guilt. Guilt is like a constant whisper in the mind that says, "You failed," or "You should have done better." This guilt creates anxiety and robs people of the calm they deserve in their later years. By consciously letting go, one replaces guilt with compassion for oneself. Just as we forgive others for their mistakes, we must also forgive ourselves. Nobody's life story is perfect, and everyone carries scars of decisions they wish they could redo. But peace comes only when we say, "I forgive myself. I allow myself to move forward." This simple act of self-forgiveness can feel like a weight being lifted off the heart, making room for joy and tranquility. Letting go of regret also means focusing on the present moment. At 60, the years ahead are more precious than ever. Spending this valuable time reliving the past is like spending gold coins on dust. Instead of being trapped in memories, one can choose to appreciate the beauty of today, the laughter of grandchildren, the comfort of a morning tea, the calmness of a prayer, or the quiet of a sunset. These simple experiences hold the real treasure of peace. Regrets make people blind to these blessings, because the mind is busy wandering back in time. By letting go, people open their eyes to the richness of the present. Another dimension of letting go is recognizing that every regret is connected to expectations. Many times, regret exists because reality did not match what we expected. We expected to have more money, more recognition, or more harmony in family life. We expected ourselves to be flawless. But life is not built on perfection. It is built on trials, errors, and learning. By lowering unrealistic expectations, one can see that life, with all its flaws, is still meaningful. After 60, wisdom lies in shifting expectations from what should have been to what can still be. Instead of thinking, "I regret not traveling the world when I was younger," one can think, "I still have today to travel to places my heart desires, even if they are small or nearby." Spirituality also plays a central role in letting go of regrets. For people of faith, regret is often softened by belief in divine wisdom. The idea that everything happens for a reason can bring immense comfort. Perhaps the career you never got saved you from greater harm. Perhaps the relationship that broke down taught you patience and resilience. Belief that a higher power guided your journey allows the heart to release bitterness and accept the story of life with grace. Many elders find peace by turning regrets into prayers, asking for forgiveness where they erred and gratitude where they were protected without knowing it. It is also important to note that letting go is not a one-time decision but a continuous practice. Some regrets are deeply rooted and may resurface from time to time. Each time they appear, one must gently remind oneself, the past cannot harm me anymore. I choose peace. Over time, this repetition builds a habit of inner calm, and the regrets lose their power. The mind becomes trained to stay in the present rather than drowning in the shadows of yesterday. Another aspect is sharing regrets with trusted companions. Sometimes, people hold regrets silently, and the silence makes the pain heavier. Speaking about these feelings with a friend, family member, or counselor can bring release. It allows the heart to breathe again. When we share, we realize that others too carry their own regrets, and we are not alone. This shared humanity lightens the load, and the act of verbalizing helps in letting go. At 60, letting go of regret also clears space for gratitude. A person who constantly replays mistakes cannot notice blessings. But once regrets are released, gratitude naturally flows in. Suddenly, you begin to notice the love that surrounds you, the health that remains, the wisdom you have gained, and the simple pleasures that fill your days. Gratitude is a natural antidote to regret. The two cannot exist together. By choosing gratitude, one automatically lets go of regret, and the mind begins to rest in peace. Ultimately, letting go of regrets is about choosing freedom. Freedom from the chains of the past, freedom from guilt, and freedom from endless what-ifs. It is about accepting that the past is a chapter already written, and now it is time to focus on writing the present with wisdom and joy. After 60, this choice becomes even more significant because time is precious, and every moment of peace is worth more than gold. The heart that releases regret becomes light, the mind becomes calm, and the spirit becomes peaceful. And that, more than anything else, is the real secret to a truly peaceful mind. Finding joy in simplicity is one of the greatest secrets to living peacefully after 60, because it is in simplicity that the heart discovers true contentment. Throughout most of life, people are often caught in the race for more wealth, more recognition, more possessions, and more achievements. This race feels endless and exhausting, yet it is considered normal in a world that glorifies competition and success. But when a person reaches 60, the perspective begins to change. Suddenly, it becomes clear that the things once chased so desperately are not the real source of happiness. Expensive cars, large houses, or a busy social circle no longer hold the same meaning. Instead, the soul craves peace, calmness, and genuine joy. And these are rarely found in complexity, they are hidden in simplicity. Simplicity does not mean living without comfort or beauty, rather, it means valuing the little things that are easily overlooked. It means enjoying a quiet morning without rushing, savoring a simple meal with gratitude, listening to the laughter of children, or finding pleasure in a gentle breeze. These small, pure experiences have the power to bring more happiness than material luxuries, because they touch the heart directly. At 60, people realize that the most precious treasures of life cannot be bought, they can only be felt. When a person learns to live simply, they also free themselves from the burden of comparison. In earlier years, people often measure themselves against others. Who has the better job, the bigger home, the more successful children? This comparison is a constant source of dissatisfaction. But in the later years, simplicity teaches that peace comes not from competing but from appreciating. The joy of drinking tea in a simple cup can be greater than owning the most expensive set of china, because it is not the object but the feeling that matters. A simple lifestyle helps the heart rest from the endless cycle of, I need more, and instead teaches the lesson of, I already have enough. Simplicity also changes the way one relates to possessions. At 60, many people find themselves surrounded by things collected over a lifetime, clothes never worn, objects never used, decorations that only gather dust. These items may have once been a source of pride, but now they often feel like clutter. True joy comes not from storing things but from releasing them. Simplifying possessions can feel like simplifying the mind. With fewer things, there is more space to breathe, more clarity to think, and more room for peace. Instead of being owned by possessions, one begins to own freedom. A simple life also makes room for deeper connections with people. When we are no longer busy chasing material achievements, we can spend more time in conversation, laughter, and companionship. Sharing a simple walk with a friend or sitting quietly with family can create happiness far beyond what wealth can offer. Simplicity in relationships means valuing sincerity over show, depth over quantity, and kindness over status. At 60, people often realize that joy lies not in having a large social circle but in having a few genuine, caring relationships. Nature itself is a teacher of simplicity. Watching the sunrise, listening to birds, feeling the touch of rain, these simple experiences awaken a childlike wonder in the heart. They remind us that joy does not require complicated plans or expensive arrangements. The earth gives countless gifts for free, and those who learn to notice them live with a constant source of happiness. After 60, when the body may not have the same energy as before, sitting quietly in nature can provide comfort, strength, and inspiration. It is in these simple encounters with creation that the mind finds its deepest calm. Simplicity also extends to thoughts. A complicated mind is filled with worry, overthinking, and endless planning. But a simple mind focuses on the essentials: gratitude, love, patience, and faith. By simplifying thoughts, one reduces stress and invites peace. At 60, the mind no longer needs to be filled with every detail of the world's noise. Instead, it can choose to rest on what truly matters. Simple thoughts lead to a simple heart, and a simple heart leads to a peaceful life. Food is another area where simplicity brings joy. After years of running after new tastes and extravagant meals, many elders find happiness in simple, home-cooked dishes. A bowl of warm soup, freshly baked bread, or a plate of fruit eaten slowly and with gratitude can bring immense satisfaction. The joy comes not from the complexity of the recipe but from the nourishment it provides and the love with which it is shared. At this stage of life, food becomes less about show and more about comfort, health, and togetherness. Simplicity also helps in financial peace. Many people spend their younger years chasing money, sometimes at the cost of health and relationships. But, later in life, it becomes clear that financial freedom does not come from endless accumulation but from contentment with enough. A simple lifestyle reduces unnecessary expenses, lowers stress, and allows one to enjoy what is already there. Instead of worrying about maintaining a luxurious lifestyle, one can live peacefully with what is comfortable and manageable. This shift reduces anxiety and creates space for inner joy. At 60, simplicity is also a way of honoring time. Life is no longer about rushing from one task to another but about slowing down and savoring each moment. Reading a book in silence, praying with devotion, listening to a loved one's story, or simply sitting in reflection, all these are simple acts that give meaning to time. Simplicity transforms time from something to be managed into something to be cherished. Every simple moment becomes a pearl of joy that adds beauty to the necklace of life. Most importantly, simplicity nurtures the soul. A life stripped of unnecessary complexity allows the spirit to rise above worldly noise. It brings clarity about what truly matters: faith, kindness, forgiveness, gratitude, and love. The soul feels light when it is not tied down by endless desires. After 60, many people discover that their deepest peace comes not from achieving new goals but from simply being present, being grateful, being alive. Finding joy in simplicity, therefore, is not about giving up pleasures but about recognizing where real pleasure lies. It is about exchanging the restless chase for more with the calm satisfaction of enough. It is about moving from complexity to clarity, from burden to freedom, from noise to peace. And once the heart learns to live simply, every day becomes a blessing, every moment a source of happiness, and every breath a reminder of the beauty of life. Strengthening faith and spirituality after the age of 60 is like watering the roots of a tree that has stood through many storms. At this stage of life, a person has already experienced the highs and lows of the world, success and failure, joy and sorrow, gain and loss. These experiences naturally lead the heart to ask deeper questions. What is the purpose of my existence? Where does true peace come from? What lies beyond this temporary world? For many, the answers are found not in material possessions but in faith and spiritual connection. Strengthening this connection becomes the key to peace of mind, because spirituality fills the heart with trust, hope, and meaning, while the noise of the world fades away. Faith provides a sense of direction when life feels uncertain. After 60, health may decline, friends and relatives may pass away, and the body may not be as strong as before. These realities can create fear and sadness if faced alone. But with strong faith, the same challenges are seen differently. Illness becomes a test, not a punishment. The passing of loved ones is viewed as a reminder of the eternal journey, not just a loss. Aging becomes a process of preparing for the next stage of existence, rather than something to dread. Spirituality helps transform fear into acceptance, despair into patience, and loneliness into closeness with the divine. One of the most powerful effects of spirituality is the feeling of inner calm it brings. Daily practices such as prayer, meditation, or reciting sacred words create moments of stillness where the mind can rest. For someone over 60, these practices are not just rituals but lifelines that keep the heart strong. A few minutes of sincere prayer can wash away worries that have been building for years. Meditation can silence the constant noise of regrets and anxieties. Reading sacred texts can provide wisdom and comfort that no worldly advice can match. These moments of connection remind the soul that it is never alone, no matter how difficult life becomes. Strengthening faith also means developing trust in a higher plan. At this stage of life, many people look back and realize that not everything went according to their own plans. Some dreams remained unfulfilled, some prayers unanswered. But faith teaches that there is wisdom even in what seems like loss. Perhaps the missed opportunities saved us from greater harm. Perhaps the delayed blessings taught us patience. This trust in divine wisdom removes bitterness and replaces it with gratitude. Instead of asking, "Why me?" the heart begins to say, "I trust that there is meaning in this." That shift in perspective is what gives real peace of mind. Another aspect of spirituality is forgiveness. After 60, it is common to carry wounds from the past, hurtful words spoken by others, betrayals, disappointments. Holding on to these wounds creates heaviness in the heart. But faith encourages forgiveness, not for the benefit of others but for one's own peace. When you forgive, you release anger and open space for serenity. Likewise, seeking forgiveness from the divine for one's own mistakes brings relief, because it assures the heart that no sin is greater than mercy. This exchange of forgiveness, both giving and receiving, creates a state of lightness that is essential for inner peace. Spirituality also brings clarity about priorities. The chase for wealth, recognition, or possessions loses its grip when faith becomes stronger. A person begins to realize that the value of life lies not in how much is owned but in how much is given. Helping others, showing kindness, offering guidance to the younger generation, and being a source of comfort, these become more meaningful than accumulating more for oneself. This shift in priorities brings joy, because giving nurtures the soul in a way that taking never can. Faith also provides courage in the face of mortality. At 60, the awareness of life's finiteness becomes sharper. For some, this thought brings fear, but for those who strengthen their spirituality, it brings preparation and even peace. Instead of avoiding the thought of death, spirituality teaches to embrace it as a natural transition to another stage of existence. This mindset removes unnecessary anxiety and allows one to live fully in the present. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every moment of gratitude becomes an investment in the eternal life to come. Spiritual practices also connect people to community. Gathering for prayers, participating in spiritual discussions, or simply sharing wisdom with others creates bonds that reduce loneliness. Elders who immerse themselves in faith often become respected guides in their families and communities, offering perspective that comes from both experience and belief. This sense of purpose and belonging nourishes the soul, because it reassures one that they still matter, that their presence is valuable. Strengthening spirituality after 60 also means reconnecting with gratitude. Gratitude is a spiritual practice that transforms the heart. Instead of focusing on what is lost with age, gratitude turns attention to what remains. The ability to breathe, the chance to witness another sunrise, the blessing of loved ones, the comfort of faith itself. Gratitude turns every ordinary day into a miracle. It changes the narrative from, "I have less than before," to, "I have more than I deserve." This shift creates joy even in the simplest of moments. For some, spirituality may also involve acts of service. Serving others with sincerity, whether through charity, teaching, or simply being present, becomes a form of worship. After 60, many people find deep fulfillment in giving back, in leaving behind a legacy of kindness. This sense of contribution brings a kind of peace that money or possessions cannot buy. It assures the heart that life has meaning, not just for oneself but for others as well. Ultimately, strengthening faith and spirituality is about nurturing the soul in the same way one cares for the body. Just as food keeps the body alive, faith keeps the spirit alive. Without it, life can feel empty and directionless, especially in later years. With it, even the smallest acts gain meaning, and even the hardest trials bring growth. The soul anchored in faith is unshaken by the storms of life, because it knows that beyond every hardship there is mercy, beyond every loss there is wisdom, and beyond this temporary world there is eternal peace. When a person strengthens their spirituality after 60, they discover a kind of joy that is independent of circumstances. Health may weaken, but faith strengthens the heart. Possessions may decrease, but trust increases. Time may feel shorter, but meaning grows deeper. And in that balance lies the true secret of a peaceful mind. To live connected to the divine, to walk with trust, to forgive, to give, and to rest in the comfort that life's journey is guided by wisdom greater than our own. Valuing relationships over material success becomes one of the most meaningful lessons after the age of 60, because it is at this stage that people finally see the difference between what lasts and what fades away. Material success, money, property, titles, or fame, can give comfort and recognition for a while, but it does not provide warmth to the heart in moments of loneliness. Relationships, on the other hand, have the power to heal wounds, give strength in weakness, and bring joy that no amount of wealth can replace. When a person looks back on their life, they rarely remember the details of their bank accounts or the awards on their shelves. Instead, they remember the faces of loved ones, the kindness shared, the laughter enjoyed, and even the tears wiped away together. This realization makes relationships the true treasure of life, especially in the later years. During the years of youth and middle age, many people sacrifice relationships in the pursuit of material success. They work long hours, miss family gatherings, and put career above companionship. At the time, it may feel necessary, as if success will provide security and happiness for the future. But as one reaches 60, the truth reveals itself. Material things provide comfort but not connection. A luxurious home can feel empty if it lacks the sound of voices and laughter. A large bank balance cannot offer a hug in moments of sadness. A shining reputation cannot sit beside you when you feel weak or unwell. In contrast, even a simple meal shared with family or a short phone call with a friend can fill the heart with more joy than luxury ever could. Valuing relationships also means nurturing bonds that may have been neglected. After 60, many people regret the times they prioritized work over children, or ego over reconciliation, or busyness over friendship. But this stage of life also provides an opportunity to mend those ties. It is never too late to say, "I love you," or "I am sorry," or "I am grateful for you." Such words heal old wounds and rebuild bridges. Choosing to value relationships gives peace of mind because it assures you that when you leave this world, you will not be remembered for what you owned but for how you treated others. Relationships are also the source of support in times of need. Aging often brings physical challenges, illness, weakness, or dependency. In those moments, it is not wealth that stands by you, but people. A child who takes your hand during a hospital visit, a spouse who prepares your meal with care, a friend who sits quietly by your side. These are the real comforts that sustain the heart. Strengthening these bonds ensures that you do not walk the final chapters of life alone. More importantly, it gives you the chance to be there for others, to return the care and kindness you once received, and to show that love matters more than success. When relationships are valued, small gestures gain deep meaning. A grandparent listening to a grandchild's stories, a parent guiding their adult children with wisdom, or a friend remembering a birthday, these little acts build memories that last longer than any achievement. People may forget the details of your career or the size of your house, but they will never forget how you made them feel. That is the legacy relationships create, a legacy of love and kindness that continues even after you are gone. Another aspect of valuing relationships is learning to let go of pride and ego. Many family bonds are broken not because of great harm but because of small disagreements, misunderstandings, or stubbornness. At 60, holding onto these grudges only creates loneliness. Letting go of ego and choosing harmony over being right is the wiser path. A single step of reconciliation can open the door to years of shared joy. True strength is not in proving yourself superior but in valuing connection over conflict. This wisdom often comes late, but once embraced, it transforms the heart and brings peace. Spending quality time with loved ones also becomes more important than ever. It is not about expensive gifts or grand trips, but about presence. Sitting together at the dinner table, sharing old memories, laughing over small jokes, praying together, or simply being present, these are the moments that nurture the soul. When you give time to relationships, you are actually investing in your own happiness, because these bonds will continue to give back love and comfort when you need it most. Valuing relationships over material success also shifts the meaning of success itself. Success is no longer measured by wealth or status but by love and respect. A truly successful life is one where your children miss you when you are gone, your friends remember you with a smile, and your community feels the loss of your kindness. No amount of property or money can buy that kind of success. It is earned only through sincerity, humility, and care for others. Relationships also help the heart stay young. The laughter of grandchildren, the care of children, the companionship of friends, these things keep loneliness away and fill life with joy. A conversation filled with warmth can heal stress better than any medicine. A hug can give strength when the body feels weak. A smile from someone you love can light up even the darkest day. These small but powerful experiences remind you that life is beautiful not because of what you own but because of who you share it with. As life nears its later years, valuing relationships also prepares the soul for departure. People do not wish to leave behind their cars, houses, or bank accounts. They wish to leave behind love, prayers, and good memories. A person who values relationships leaves behind children who remember their kindness, friends who cherish their loyalty, and a community that benefits from their generosity. That is the true inheritance, an inheritance of love. Ultimately, after 60, valuing relationships over material success is about choosing what nourishes the heart instead of what merely decorates life. Material things are temporary, but the bonds of love and connection carry meaning across generations. They provide comfort in this world and leave blessings that continue even after one's time ends. A peaceful mind is not built on wealth but on relationships filled with love, forgiveness, and care. In the end, the richest person is not the one with the most possessions, but the one surrounded by love when possessions no longer matter.